My paper spray. Are we live? We are live. Are we? There we go. Getting situated. Okay. Getting ready for our guest, Sister Malikah from Detroit. Currently in Washington, D.C. Yes, mashallah. Is she here? Did I do that right? Sister Malikah. Let's see. Okay. Sister Malikah, we have a little technical difficulty. I just sent you an invitation. Oh, here we go. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know. I was trying to use my iPad to be fancy.
Okay.
It wouldn't stay connected. So we're good. I'm gonna be moving around, but we good. We good.
Do you think? Okay, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Ummah. We are coming live to you with serious and sincere this evening from Washington, D.C. and Detroit, Michigan. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with a fellow creative. I'm so excited. Sister Malikah Shabazz. Did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would you please tell us some more about yourself, your age, where you're from, and what you do?
Sure. Well, my name is Malikah Shabazz. I am 39, just turned 39 a couple of weeks ago. I born and raised and currently reside in Detroit. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see my face. I'm just trying to do stuff to talk.
Okay.
This is so unprofessional. As a producer, I'm just like, I was prepared, and then my laptop was like, I didn't sign up for this.
Okay.
But yes, so I am a producer. I'm a producer. I'm sorry. I am a producer. I am also a filmmaker and a curator. What else? And a photographer. I guess now it's called multi-hyphenate creatives. That's the term they're using. And I was like, that works for me. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out this one. Yes.
Take your time. Take your time. Do your thing. Okay, right on. So, do you have a set preference for what you're looking for in this special brother?
Technically, yes. I actually took the advice. Hold on one second. I took the advice. There we go. Let me plug her up. Let me tell you something, producers. We're going to figure it out now. So, yeah. I do have like a list. It's kind of long, but to be fair, multiple married people always say, write down what you want in a man. And I did that. And then I looked at the list and was like, okay, so if that man showed up today, would I be the person that he wants to marry? I was like, sort of, kind of, I'm almost there. But there are certain, I mean, of course, there's the general Muslim, Black, but then there's also certain things like having a definitive religious practice, having a definitive spiritual practice, being socially aware, conscious and aware of the history and the situations that have caused the descendants of enslaved Africans in this country to be in the position that we're in, like understanding that and being conscious of that and understanding that that affects my worldview. So, so it's just a little icing on the cake of things that I'm looking for. Of course, there's the regular communication and someone who is so community oriented, and you know, it would be nice if he supports the arts and the culture, because
Clearly, 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 obviously understood. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So in saying that, because I've met a number of people who claim to be conscious and appreciative of their people, but when they speak of them, they have a certain tone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does he sound?
He sounds like someone who is able to constructively criticize some of our issues, but not from the point of like pointing fingers and this is the problem with you black people and blah, blah, blah. Yes, we have our issues. Everybody got issues. But you can still help people from the place of love and not from a place of trying to be your version of the model minority, because subconsciously you're still trying to be accepted by status quo. You're still trying to fit into that idea of what a black person should be, right? So yeah, there's someone who is compassionate with his people. We all get frustrated, but you can still be honest and have constructive criticism for your people without downing them, but then also knowing when and where, because like for me, certain famous black people will do stuff, but I'm not gonna, for example, Kanye West, right? I have my feelings about Kanye West, but I'm not going to go online and just go after him or say disparaging things about him per se, because I understand how media works and I understand how the media will take words and which could have been just like, I care about this person, and so I'm saying these things, but they will take that and package it as, see, black women don't support black men, and they use it against us. It's constantly been used against us. That's why we have this fake black men, black woman war thing going on, because anytime we have discussions, our discussions are taken and repackaged and used in order to further tear us apart. So someone who understands that when it comes to being vocal about issues in the community, there's a way to do it. Like Malcolm X was very, very critical of our community, but it was from a place of love, right? Because he understood that we're not the only person with problems, and some of our problems were not created by us. They were created by a situation that we were forced to be in, a situation that we've never had any type of therapy for, we've never healed for. I don't care what nobody say, every black person in this country needs therapy. We all need therapy. There's no way we can go through 400 years of what we went through, then deal with sharecropping and Reconstruction, then Jim Crow, then civil rights. Now, there's no way we can go through for us to, I mean, we've done it, but at the same time, we all are still
national gaslit. We get. So, okay. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Now, that was beautiful. Can I get an example of somebody who's doing it right? Like if you could build this ideal man, right?
Ooh, let me build a man. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Like, I mean, why is it so hard for me to figure out how to build a man? Because I'm like, so am I like, so if like physically or emotionally or
let me see. If certain people had certain elements that you could use to put this ideal person together. Okay, yeah. Okay. From how he would look, yeah. How would he look? How would he look? What would he do?
Okay. Looks can kind of be last, because you can look cute, but then you open your mouth and you can get real ugly real quick. So someone who, his particular profession, I'm not too, it's not a big deal for me per se, like whether you're a lawyer or you own a store or something like that, but it has to be someone that has a plan, right? Because like, you know, I just turned 39. I'm a year shy of 40, but I have like an idea of what legacy I want to leave for my eventual children, my nieces and nephews, my friends' children, and for other young people coming after me. So someone who has an idea, whether you want to call it a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, they have a vision, they have a plan. Someone who is invested in their community, whether it's financially, whether it's from someone who's investing their time, whether it's just going to community events, but, you know, not being afraid to say, yeah, this is my community. he supports arts and culture because arts and culture is important to any community, whether you're Black and Muslim or not. And it's something that we as specifically Black Muslims struggle with. If he's Black, he needs to be Black. I mean, listen, I know I know people say to open your horizons, and I'm like, alhamdulillah for y'all, but for me, I need a brother or someone indigenous, because there's a cultural relationship that comes with that. And I want to be with someone that can get it. You know, so no shade to nobody else that dates outside the race. Alhamdulillah, do you? But I'm over here. I'm good. I love me the brothers. So, Black man. Let me keep building this dude. Someone who's a leader, like knows how to lead, and not conflating lead with dictate. I feel like sometimes in conversations I've seen online, leading gets conflated with dictate, and that's not what that is. Like, you know, I need to be able to trust you to lead our family in a way that you're not leading me off a hill, right? But still at the same time, understand the wisdom in asking me my opinion on this major decision you may be making for our family or something. But someone that actually knows how to lead, and part of leading is having a plan. So if he has a plan, hopefully he'll be a good leader too.
Okay.
I'm sorry, am I rambling too much?
At it all.
Because you told me to build them. Now I'm thinking about it. Someone who knows how to create a safe space for me to like fully relax into my feminine. Like, you know, being a producer, I'm constantly, you know, and I'm only that I'm in the entertainment industry. So I'm constantly in an industry that's very male dominated. And so sometimes I have to kind of maneuver in a certain way, because being a Black Muslim woman, a short Black Muslim woman, sometimes people don't take me seriously. And so there's a way that sometimes I have to maneuver in a way to be taken seriously. But I want to be able to come home and just relax and know that there's someone there who I can trust, someone who creates a space where I can fall into my vulnerability. Like, I don't want to have to produce my marriage. You know, like,
Yes.
Someone.
So how tall are you?
I'm 5'2". Shout out to shorties.
Yes.
I'm 5'2" and I am proud. Yes, I don't have a step stool yet, but I do have a chair, and I use it when I got to get on top. I can't reach all the way to the middle of my refrigerator, but it's okay. I have a chair.
Okay. Would you rather he be like a ladder or a step stool or a chair?
I really don't mind, because when you're 5'2", so many people are taller than you. So it doesn't, his height doesn't really bother me. Even if he's 5'1", it's all right. That's nothing you can control, sir. So it doesn't bother me.
Okay. You said you want somebody who allows you to relax into your femininity. So what do you love being what do you love about being a woman?
Ooh, everything. Oh, wow. There's so much. I think society wants us to believe that being a woman is so hard. And in some situations, it can be a challenge, but it's such a blessing to be, first of all, to be blessed with the ability to create life. Like, you know, I was watching this video from someone on Instagram, and the woman was talking about how society has, only thing you hear about, you know, birth is just pain and tearing and screaming and rah. And she says that's some people's experience, but that's not everyone's experience. But that idea has demonized birth to the point where, you know, something where you should be able to be kind of relaxed and just listen to your body. We're not put in those situations. But so I do think there is a blessing, and we know the blessing that we get in being able to bring forth life. I do love, at least for me, the softness that comes with being a woman, that sometimes for us as Black women, we're discouraged from embracing. Like, I know the thing now is everyone's getting to their soft life, which is great. I love it. I just hope it's just not a fad, because it's like we should be able to relax, right?
I'm not familiar with that. Can you explain it a little bit?
So the soft life is, I shouldn't call it a fad, but there are a lot of Black women who are saying, I don't want to be a strong Black woman anymore, because that denotes the idea of she doesn't need help. I always got it. And it's like, no, sometimes I need help, or I want to be taken care of, right? This idea of being a strong Black woman, which has turned into I don't need no man and blah, 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 which historically has not been the meaning of it. But once again, media takes things and contorts it. And so now when the term strong Black woman has a negative connotation, and a lot of women are saying, like, I don't want to be strong anymore. I want to relax. I want someone to open the door for me. I want someone to take me out. I want to be able to feel protected. Like, I have my mentor, she just got married. And the one thing she said about her now husband, she says, I'm free, but I'm a kept woman. And I was like, meaning that she does what she wants, but he still takes care of her. And he loves this woman. Like, it's the most beautiful display of Black love I've seen. And it's beautiful. But when she said that, I said, wow, like, to be able to be in a position where, you know, I can fully fall into, I can do what I want to do, but still know that I'm not struggling per se, because there's someone that got me, right? To hear I got you is one of the top tier things to hear next to are you hungry? For someone to say I got you, because there's so much that comes with that, and being able to just take a breath. So I went out on a tangent. So what's it like about being a woman? I do like the girly stuff as it's called. So yeah, I don't do it as much. I'm trying to get into it. Just I got older and was just like, but you know, playing around with different shades, playing around with colors, playing around with fabrics and things of that nature, like doing it because it makes me feel good, not for like anyone's attention or anything like that, but just doing things that makes me feel comfortable and makes me feel confident in being a woman, and also understanding the importance I play in men's life in general, not just your mate, but understanding that balance that women bring, you know, to existence with the man. So yeah, it's lit over here.
So you want to live to enjoy what Eve Salam Alayha said to Prophet Adam alayhi salam, like, I'm a female, I'm made for you. You allows you to enjoy that.
Yeah, like I'm your partner in life. Like, we right here, buddy. Like, let's go. Like, I'm here, like, help. Some people, I've heard people say partner, helpmate. Like, we're here to complement each other. We're not here to fight each other. Like, I'm your complement, and same, and it's vice versa. He's my complement. You know?
Yeah. Inshallah. Okay. So, you say you're located in Detroit, Michigan now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you open to relocating?
Actually,
or are you open to the long distance?
Well, that's a good question. I am open to relocating. Long distance. Ooh, I don't know, because that's work, you know? And it's one thing to think about it when I'm not in a relationship, but when you like married to someone and I don't know, I know there was this meme going around that showed like two houses and a bridge in between and the kids running through, and it was like husband's house, wife's house. I was like, that is dope. I can rock with, but he's still right there, as opposed to being a long distance. I guess if the plan was for us to eventually come together, then yeah. So if there's some sort of plan for us to eventually be in the same space, then I would consider it.
Okay. And would you be okay with him moving to you?
Sure. Come through to Detroit. Come on down to Motown.
What do you love about your city? What would make it hard for you to leave right now?
I'm gonna be honest, not much, because there are a lot of people who, I lived in Brooklyn for almost a decade. And so there are a lot of people who met me while I was in New York and kind of thought I was from Brooklyn. And listen, I love Brooklyn. Brownsville never ran, but we never will. Bed-Stuy, do or die. I love Brooklyn is my second home, but Detroit is my foundation. And so, you know, Detroit, the history of Detroit, you know, Islamically and just for the world, Detroit is so important for the history of Black people in America. And that history is still walking around with a lot of our pioneers and a lot of our elders. And there's so much that to still do here. Like not only creatively, you know, Detroit is going through a change like a lot of cities are. And I was, you know, I'm blessed to have come back at a time where I can still make that impact. But Detroit is dope, whether it's the music, whether it's the food. Number one is the people, but it's really still a great space, a great place to build. There are a lot of people who are rebuilding. They don't show you that in the media, but it's a lot of Black folks in Detroit that are working to rebuild the city that we grew up in. So I love Detroit. I wouldn't say I'll never leave again because I'm trying to transfer into the more of the nomad mind. Not nomadic, but I just want to start traveling more. So I'm not completely opposed to relocating.
Okay.
And he can come here if he wants to. More power to you. Come on down.
Inshallah. Do you have an age preference or range?
So I would say like 35 to like 47. That 35, you know, and it's hopefully there would be a maturity level there, you know, which is because technically that's younger than me, but that's not too much younger. But so yeah, it's like 35 to like 47.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How does your creativity materialize? Like as far as you being a producer.
Oh.
What exactly do you do?
Oh, that's a great question. So it happens in a variety of ways.
Okay.
So as a producer, because like I produce events, but I can also produce content. So for events, it's a little bit more straightforward. This is the event. This is what they want. So it's like, for me, it's just like, all right, let's get this organized. Dates. Where is it at? One time. Who do we have coming? What time are they supposed to be here? What's the budget? Food, stuff like that. So that's a little bit more. It's a little bit more just spreadsheet. This is what it is, because your client will handle much more of the creative aspect unless I'm doing the event myself. When it comes to content, it depends on the client sometimes, because a lot of times the producer, well, it depends, because when you get into bigger productions, the line producer is very much schedule, time, budget, but then you have a creative producer who's focusing more on, you know, casting, set, things of that nature. And so for me, when I'm producing my own things, which is something I'm trying to move out of, so I can step more into the like director, writer, so I can focus more on the creative and not just the producer. But with this, if it's with the some sort of, whether it's a production I really like, for me, it's figuring out what is the end goal and then how can I get you there within your budget, if not cheaper. And so for me, I like to work backwards, start from the end goal and work our way back. So if I know you want to have an event, I don't know, April the 15th. All right, we know this is the end goal, and then I work my way back so I can set like, this needs to be done by this time, call this person, this goes here, and all that jazz. But creatively, try to do the same thing, but sometimes you have to move things around, especially if you're working on like short films. If your money runs out, then you have to figure out something else, which is always fun. No, it's not, but but yeah, so producer wise, now as a writer, like a screenwriter, so it depends. Like I've had to be very diligent about writing ideas as soon as I hear them or as soon as I get them, because if not, I'll lose them. So I'll just write something down and I can leave it and then come back to when it pops up. So, you know, I'll get an idea and I'll just kind of write it down until the idea is done. But if it's something like, okay, I know I'm working on this project, I like to just kind of free write and just let it all out, whether it's, okay, this is what happened, this is dialogue I'm hearing, just let it all go. And then once I did that, kind of let it sit for a good 24 minutes, give your mind a break, and then I come back and start doing the structures, you know, character breakdown, character bios, first, second, third act, protagonist, antagonist, and all that fun stuff. So that's in a nutshell. Because I can stay here all day about process. Woo.
Okay, so he has to be flexible as far as how you need to spend your time working, right?
I mean,
well, can you be a little clingy?
Well, yes and no. Like, it would help if he understands that with the industry I'm in, I don't have a typical 9 to 5. You know, I have from when I start to when I finish. And so sometimes that may be 2, 3 o'clock, or if I have an event, if the event's over at 10, it may be 11 o'clock before I'm leaving, right? Because I'm the first person there and last person to leave. But I think it's understanding that there are times where I kind of do need that space where I'm trying to focus on this. Just give me 2 hours to focus on it. It doesn't mean you have to leave the house or anything like that. It's nothing like that comes with creating that safe space. You can physically be there, and I would probably want your presence there because, you know, as my partner, I would hope that your presence creates a calming space for me where I feel comfortable having you there. Because when you're creating, that's a very vulnerable space. And
I mean,
so, and oftentimes if I'm like writing somewhere out, I'll usually have headphones on to kind of zone in. But if I'm at home, I may just have, you know, something playing on my computer. But understanding that there are times where I do need space to just give me an hour and a half to work on this. But then understanding that my work doesn't prevent me from giving you the attention that you need as my partner. Like,
okay.
and I think that's something that people, I don't want to say fear when it gets to creatives. We always hear the story about musicians and they don't have time for their makes. But at the same time, I think one, you can make time. You make time for whatever you want to make time for. And then two, you can include them in some ways, even if that's just them physically being there. So like if I know I have a shoot, if I'm shooting a short for a weekend, maybe you're just on set with me for the day, you know? So we may not be talking all day long, but you're still there. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is understanding that like as a creative, like there are some times where I just give me a minute, or if I'm coming back from an event, you know, even though I may need a minute to decompress, sometimes that the way that helps decompress, what can help with that decompression is just a nice hug. Like I just need to breathe and exhale. And that goes back to him creating like that safe space where I can truly I just walk through the door and I can take all that off and just be myself and breathe. And you don't have to say anything yet. Just let me breathe for a second. And then I can tell you all about the craziness of my day. But just that goes back to creating that safe space.
This is to ask, how do you foresee your creativity manifesting in your relationship?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think it will hinder it in any way if I understand what you're asking. If anything, I think it would amplify it, because like when she asked me before, does he have to be a creative person? He doesn't have to be a creative person, but someone who understands and supports the arts and culture will kind of have an understanding and support of creatives themselves, because they understand that as a creative, you are like really like you're pulling from your soul, right? Like if I'm writing a script, I'm literally creating a whole nother universe, whether it's something that exists here or something that exists on Saturn. And so I see it manifesting positively, because me as a creative, it's part of who I am, right? And so, and not only being a creative, but like being a dork and a nerd, like we have fun over here. So, so yeah, but I think it'll manifest positively. And hopefully if he's someone that supports the arts and supports culture and the arts in the community, he'll be someone who will actually support me, and not necessarily just financially, but just emotionally, you know, and hopefully he'll be the type of person where I could bounce something off of you. Like, does this make sense? Does it sound like something someone would say, you know?
Yes. So even if he can't feed or nurture your creative energy at that moment, he knows to not block it.
Right. And you'd be surprised how sometimes you just physically being there, the right person, sometimes just physically being there helps. Like if I'm over here on the computer and you're over there doing your thing, like we're not talking, but I know you're here, and it's a form of support, right? But then at the same time, if he has to go do something and I'm over here, I'm not that type of person where it's like, well, you work so much. Well, so do I. That's where communication comes in. And now with the beauty of technology, you know, you can FaceTime, voice message, and do all this other stuff. So communicating is easier than it was, say, 15, 20 years ago when it was phone calls and letters. So, excuse me. So I think that's where having good communication definitely comes in.
Okay. Do you require silence or alone time to recalibrate?
Yeah. But silence more than necessarily alone time, because we can be silent, but you're still there, you know?
Companion.
And so,
Yes.
and it's not
Okay.
like a don't talk for 24 hours. It's just a, give me a minute and then I can talk. So yeah, silence, especially if I've just come from an event, like just give me a minute. People been in my ear bugging me about stuff for the past 4 hours. So definitely silence, but I don't necessarily have to be alone per se. I would prefer to be with him because he's my partner, you know? And he's the one
Okay.
person, that's where that creating that space where I can be vulnerable, so I can take off the producer hat and just keep the Malikah hat on and not have to worry about, I come home and he's just, he's like, he gets it like, a nice big warm hug and a cup of tea. Thank you, sir. You get it.
What kind of tea?
So my favorite is peppermint. I love a good peppermint tea. I've been trying to create the London fog. I had it a few years ago when I was in New York, not New York, New Orleans for work. And so for anyone that doesn't know, a London fog is Earl Grey with like almond milk or whatever your choice is. And it is delicious. But yeah, like I have plethora of tea. So any tea that I have, I'm going to drink. So just put the tea kettle on and nice cup of tea, a spoon or two of honey, and just breathe. Whew.
Okay. Have you been married before? If so, what do you miss most? And if not, what are you looking forward to?
So I have not been married before.
Okay.
The one thing that I do look forward to most is the companionship. For me, I think having someone don't get me wrong, I do enjoy having my time to myself. I think there are a lot of people who villainize being single. And I truly believe that you can't fully be present in a marriage with someone if you can't be present with yourself. And that's something that I had to learn, because marriage, is just like drilled in our head. Like you grow up and you get married. But it's like, how can I be a good wife to somebody's son if I can't be a good person to myself? And so I've learned to be content with myself and just exploring things that I enjoy doing. But at the same time, there are times where it's like, I'm sitting here rewatching The Office and I'm laughing at it by myself like, bruh, it'd be nice if someone else got the Stanley joke. So for me, it is the actual companionship that I'm looking forward to, and just having that person that I can like truly just, let the guard down and laugh and be a dork with and share my corny dad jokes and all that.
Okay. Are there any areas of creativity you would like to explore, either alone or with your husband?
I'm open to trying anything at least once. Like a lot of people think I'm like a musician or something. I'm not, even though I've taken multiple piano classes and guitar classes. I got a guitar right over there. But I would like to get back into learning how to play the piano. So I just need to buy a keyboard or something. And then one thing I've been thinking about doing is exploring graffiti or just spray paint. A couple of Eids ago, I created a crown with flowers, but I spray painted it gold. And I was like, this is kind of dope. So that's probably something I'll do when it gets warmer. Just buy a canvas and some spray paint and go in the backyard and just, but yeah, I would love to share that with someone.
Would you spray paint your husband? You make like body outlines on the walls.
I don't know about on my walls, but
no, you don't paint.
But if it's like just him and I just like spray around him, or if he's game, if he's game, let's go. Like you got to put something on, because I don't want to get that on his skin. But yeah, let's go for it.
They got body paint. You put it in a little spray bottle.
If he's game for it, let's go. Because one thing I do sometimes is I do like the tribal markings. If it's something fancy, I do that. But if he's game for it, let's go. Or like I also want to get into mixed media. So, let me do a photo shoot with you, and then, I can have fun with playing with different textures of paints and papers and stuff like that. But if he's game, let's go, bro.
Okay. What if he has children? Are you open?
Yeah, that's
them
not
having
a problem.
Children?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. What about polygamy?
for me.
Okay. All right. Alhamdulillah. So for now, how does family factor into your life?
It's very important. There are a lot of people in Detroit who thought I mysteriously had a child because they see my niece with me all the time. And the girl has my face, but family is very important because it's a cornerstone of community life. So like for me, meeting someone with children is not a problem. Hopefully he wants more children because I wouldn't mind a child or two. But I think it's very important because it does set the foundation for community life, and it gives you accountability for when you're trying to navigate, throughout the craziness known as the world, as the dunya. But yeah, family is very important.
Do you have a favorite ayat or surah that gives your life perspective?
It's funny, I read all these questions, was like, I got it. And now I'm sitting here like, I think for me, Surah Al-Rahman, or just specifically Fabi Aili Ayla, Rabbika Matukadiban, to me, that's an ego check. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? And I think it's just something to think about when you're sitting here like going through the woe is me, like if something's not working out. It's like you woke up this morning and somebody didn't. And so, yes, we go through these emotions. There are things like my slime Taquas, Destination Black. She makes dope jewelry, so go visit her. She's in Detroit as well. But yeah, to me, that's like that ayat is like an ego check for me. So at any point, and I think about any time when you see like a sunset or a clear sky or any type of constellation or anything like that, like which are the favors of your Lord? To me, it's ego check. Like, what are you going to complain about now? So for me, that's the one. And it took me a few years to realize like that's a straight ego check. So for me, that's the one. Like that, and I don't know if it's considered an ayat, but kun fayakun, be and it is. To me, that's just like the power of the creator. That coupled with Salatul Istikara, ego checks all around, because it's like, I saw a video that someone shared on Instagram where it was a sister who was on a podcast, and she was saying sometimes the way we view dua and Allah is very tit for tat. So it's like, oh, I just got in a car crash. Maybe I probably got in this car crash because I missed Fajr, or, or this didn't happen because I didn't donate to this person, or vice versa. And she was saying Allah doesn't work like that. That's humans. That's us. He doesn't work that way. So those are probably my two favorite ayats, because it's an ego check, but it's also a reminder, especially with kun fayakun, what's meant for you will not miss you. If it's written for you, it's coming. And I know it's hard for us sometimes as humans because we want something so bad, but that's the beauty of Salatul Istikara. Like if you truly trust your Lord, which is something that I had to come to grips with in terms of just, being okay with being single and understanding that who's meant for me won't miss me. When you make Salatul Istikara, and I don't know about everybody else, but for me, those answers come quick. Like next day, and it's like, well, there it is. Like there's a humility in that. There's a humility in not knowing and trusting the one that does know, right? It's an ego check. So those are probably my favorite two.
Okay. Which one is Sahaba would you say is your role model?
Ooh, that's a good one. It has to only be one.
No, you know what? I don't have just one. Go for it.
I would say one. I would say, as I'm getting older, I think looking at Lady Khadija, radiallahu anha, in terms of her business acumen, but at the same time having a family and supporting a husband for 20-something years. So I think that for her, that's one. I think Aisha, radiallahu anha, because she was very inquisitive. And I think sometimes we tell children, stop asking me so many questions. So like I see that sometimes in stores, and you know, a child is just inquisitive, asking questions, you'll hear a parent say, stop asking me all these questions. And I know that sometimes for the parent, that's all they know because that's how they were raised. But seeing the how a child just kind of breaks down and understanding how it's going to only be so many times before that child stops asking questions. And I was very blessed to be in a household where inquisitiveness was encouraged. And now that I'm older, I understand the importance of asking questions. And she was always asking questions. And she was a sister. So I think that's a sign also for women that it's okay to ask questions. Yes. If something doesn't seem right, you can ask why. And you can ask for Dalil on the subject. You can look it up yourself. So asking questions, not only verbally, but asking questions and researching. And then one recently who, not saying he's never been a favorite, but just looking at his position, Bilal, radiallahu anhu, because, you know, we know him as the first muadhin, but I think we have to really understand that the adhan is not just a call to prayer for us, but it's a form of dawah. You know, come to prayer, come to success. And the first person to be, I guess you can consider him a face of dawah, was a dark Abyssinian African man who used to be enslaved and had a beautiful voice, and he was chosen, excuse me, as to be the first caller of the adhan, which tells us, come to prayer, come to success. That's not just for us. And then when you look at that in terms of Islam here in America and how it's a historical fact that if it weren't for Black people, Islam would probably not be in America the way it is. So that correlation for me being in media and just understanding, you know, especially with the history of Islam, whether it's from the slave ships, whether it was with the nation, whether it was with hip hop, seeing how in America, it's been us that have been doing the dawah in this country. Like, to, you know, shout out to Dr. Suad Abdul Kabir, but we made Muslim cool. We made the terms Muhammad, Islam, Allah, all of that was from us. And that's a connection right back to Bilal, because him calling the adhan was also a form of dawah, because it wasn't like he was just whispering it to the people who were there. He was projecting. And so people who weren't Muslim were hearing this beautiful voice and going, what is that? Just like now you hear people say they hear someone calling the adhan and people go, what is that? Because it's not just for us, it's a form of dawah. So I think those would be my three at this particular point in my life.
Okay. I need a minute.
Take your time.
Yes. Okay. So, which prophet would you say, which prophet's life mirrors your own most closely?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to say, is it Nur or Musa? Oh, that's a good question that I don't remember seeing on that list. Okay.
No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know if there's just one, because there's so many different stories that I think there's so many different stories. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Well, whose story do you pull inspiration from?
I don't know. I think for writing, I think Noah or Noor. I think because I'm thinking about like where I am right now in terms of media and Black Muslim reputation. Actually, I take that back, because who comes to mind isn't a prophet per se, but she was in alignment. I'm thinking Hagar and how that sister, what she went through and what she did to save her child, right? She had to leave her child to save her child. And I think that's almost the allegory for sometimes things that we have to do for our children, right? Like things that our parents had to. When you think about the Great Migration and how people had to leave their families so they can make money to save their families, you know. And so this Black woman was running back and forth between mountains. Like, now you go to Hajj, it's cool, it's air conditioned and all that stuff. She was in the desert looking for water for her baby and then found it under his foot. So I think as a Black Muslim woman who's in media and who understands that what I do doesn't just impact me, but impacts the other young Muslims, especially other young Muslim women who are watching me. Yeah, I think I'll go with Hagar. I know she's not a prophet, but she's prophet adjacent.
She is important enough for us to have rites of Hajj.
Yes.
That yeah, because of what she did.
Yes.
So yes. Alhamdulillah. We got Zamzam because of Hajar.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. All right. Do you have any dream or fantasy moments you look forward to experiencing in your marriage?
I look forward to watching my feature film with this man and just being like, I did it finally, because I've been working on it for years. But sharing that moment, because writing scripts is stressful. Like, it's great, but sometimes it's just like, why did I choose to do this? Like, this is stressing me out, and it's my creation. But I think celebrating the fruits of the labor that I'm putting in now, whether it's my work or other things that I have planned for myself, I think sharing that with him, and then hopefully, my plan and his plan aligning to the point where now we have a family plan and things falling in place and being able to live with ease. Like, I want to live with ease and know that I don't feel like I have to work hard to make money. Like we've been told, if you work hard, you'll get rich. That's not true. It's not true. If you work smart, you'll get rich. So being able to sit with him and map out, this is a plan and this is how we're going to do it, and then seeing it come to fruition, that's going to be fun.
Inshallah. What are your green flags, your checkered flags? Like, what lets you know he's a winner?
Oh, a green flag. If he knows how to communicate, like, believe it or not, you can kind of tell when a brother knows how to communicate in the way that he, especially if you're somewhere and you have a disagreeing point, the way that he expresses it, green flag. If he's someone that, once again, has the ability to lead, because sometimes being a leader doesn't just mean you're like the imam. There's other ways to be a leader. But if I see you like you've got different things going on where you're in your community, people see you as a leader and they confide in you and they trust you as a leader because they know that you're not gonna, manipulate them or anything like that, that's a green flag. If he's, if hygiene is good, that's a green flag. Because some brothers just, a little different. Alhamdulillah. But listen, I'm just
change their diet. Okay.
I mean, and it's not even that, but at the same time, because like even for me, I'm not super duper fit, but I can go up flights of stairs and I'm good, right? So for me, it's someone who understands that I'm not anti-healthcare establishment, but I also do study, different natural ways of healing and things of that nature. I do believe in being conscious with what you eat, so a brother that if I mention something about sea moss and he knows what it is, hey, or if I'm, randomly talking about this 28-day detox I'm about to do, it's not on some, oh my God, why? It's on like, oh, that's green light, bro.
Yes. Okay. Do you have any red flags?
If he's always negative, like, those people where it's just like, there's always a problem. And then when you try to give them solutions, there's a reason why that won't work and this won't work. And they just want to complain. That's a red flag. Because to me, the question is, okay, that makes me question your work ethic and how much you believe in what you want to do. And I can't be with someone who every time something doesn't go the right way, we just want to sit here and complain about it. And then I try to come up with a solution. Well, that's not going to work. Well, I tried this and that ain't going to work. And then just, see, that's the problem. I can't. I'm sorry, brother. And I've met people like that. And I'm just like, like Muslim, non-Muslim, just in general. For me, that's just not, that's a red flag. Because it makes me question your work ethic. Also, another red flag is someone who constantly just dismisses other people's opinions or ideas if it's not the same as theirs. So if you're having a discussion and someone has you state your idea, and then someone chooses to retort and you don't like it, especially if it's a sister and you just disregard it, red flag. Because if you disregard what I'm saying here, how does that translate into marriage, right? Are you just expecting me to go along with everything and not say, well, why are we doing this again? So yeah, that's a red flag. Someone who does not know how to communicate, who's just expecting, someone who has a very much do what I say, not as I do. Yeah, that's giving dictator vibes.
Okay, I gotta ask, what do you love about men?
Whoo! Black men? Listen, there is a je ne sais quoi. I don't know if it's soul, but there's something about brothers. When brothers are confident in themselves, it exudes out of their pores. And it's beautiful. Like I always tell men, especially men have this thing where they don't smile in pictures. Okay, but I always say, okay, that was a good one. The second one, I need y'all to smile. Because there's some black men out here with some amazing smiles. And I get it. The brothers is the stoic. And I'm like, well, could you at least smile for me? And brothers have some amazing smiles. And when they get together and they're laughing and dapping, it's just, the energy is amazing. Not only that, but when brothers are down for you, they down for you. And I love it. Oh my goodness. The support that a black men, because another lie that I like to say is that black men don't like black women. Don't listen to that.
That ain't even natural. That ain't even natural to the original parents. That ain't even natural.
It's so many black men out here who ride for black women and they show up and it's beautiful. So, but when brothers, I know there's videos going around of brothers in suits and stuff. I'm just like, alhamdulillah. They when they know it, they know their place and they know they know their job in the community. Ooh. And when they working for the community, a brother that's out here and a brother that's good with children. Because I really truly believe, especially with younger children, when they're young and they haven't been told you have to smile at people because that's the thing. I've learned that when a baby first meets you, it takes a minute. They got to fill you out, and then they'll let you know if they feeling you or not. And so if I see a man that's good with children, because then that speaks to his gentleness. That speaks to the Abu Bakr in him who used to give candy to the children, right? And so and I think that speaks to, because we know the society makes society is so hard on our brothers. And so to see them be able to be gentle, it's just such a blessing.
Yes. They get to lean into their natural masculinity.
Yes. And they get a chance to just smile and relax for a second, and they're holding the baby and playing with the kids, or they laughing with each other. It's a beautiful sight.
It is. MashaAllah. Okay. Where can we find you? Or where can he find you?
So I'm on Instagram mostly. So under this account, Malikah Creates. Or you want to go to my website, malikahashabazz.com, and you can see what I do. But yeah, Instagram, for the most part, my DMs are open. Instagram is weird because they have 3 different DMs. And so, just Instagram, Malikah Creates.
Okay. And are you connected to any masjid in Detroit?
Yes. So primarily, I usually go to Masjid Wali Muhammad, but you'll probably see me around the Muslim Center often, especially because I do a lot with Dream of Detroit. And I'm actually, let me not put where I live at, but so I don't want to go that far. I keep forgetting this is not just Detroit. But yeah, so I usually go to Masjid Wali Muhammad. If you freak Wali Muhammad, you probably know my father at this point. Or you may see me at the Muslim Center because I do a lot with Dream of Detroit as well.
Okay. And they can get in touch with you for your Wali information?
Sure. Just ask me first. If you know my dad, I know some people are just go straight to Wali, but I'm I want to fill you out first a little bit. So at least ask me my name and ask me if I'm single, and then here, go call my dad. But, that's just me. Cause I know I had one brother once who he was a 5%er. So I shouldn't say that 5%ers. I'm sorry. But but I remember him saying something like, I bet you if I called your dad, you marry me. I said, sir, you don't know me or my father. If you know what's good for you, you want to get in good with me, because contrary to what you believe, if I say no, he's gonna say no. It's just, that is what it is. Like, if there is no trying to persuade me. If I'm not interested, my daughter's not interested.
Okay. Okay. Right on, you solid. All right. I hate to say goodbye. I really enjoyed this.
Fun. This is so out of my comfort zone, but thank you for pushing me to do it. Shout out to Corey.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us. Y'all know where to find her, inshallah. She didn't put her information up there for you to see it. Benefit yourself or somebody who's deserving.
Inshallah.
Okay. Inshallah. We be in touch.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum, Ummah. We see y'all next time. Inshallah.